Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about getting your indefinite leave to remain in the UK, also known as the settlement. If it's something that you're interested in, do watch till the end. I know a lot of people are in the UK on a healthcare visa and are coming towards the end of their health and care visa and wondering how they're going to apply for the indefinite leave to remain, or if you were on a tier 2 visa previously. This video will be valuable to you. I'm going to be telling you tips on how to get your application expedited and how to save time and save costs, and how to even provide supporting documents that people may find difficult due to embassy problems and things like that. So if you're interested in this, do watch till the end. So indefinite leave to remain in the UK is your ability to stay in the UK without visa restriction and have no time limit to your visa. This is also known as the settlement. Okay, now for you to be eligible to get your settlement on a healthcare visa or previously a tier 2 visa, you need to have been in the UK for at least 5 years from the anniversary of your entry in the UK. Now this is not the date on your biometric resident permit, just so you are clear. It is the date on your passport or your passport vignette, the stamp that had your visa on your passport. That is your anniversary date, and all that 3 months, okay, usually the expiry period on that vignette counts towards your leave to remain in the UK. Okay, that's one thing you didn't know. Now you know. So go back to your passport, check the date on the vignette stamp. On the anniversary of that date, 28 days before that date, you can apply for your indefinite leave to remain in the UK, provided you meet the eligibility criteria, which are as follows. If you're aged between 18 and 65, you need to pass your Life in the UK test, prove your English proficiency or pass an English examination test. You need to pay the fee for the examination. You need to bring your supporting documents, and you need to have not broken the rules of your right to stay in the UK, or any immigration rules for that matter. And you should meet the condition of continuous residence and have not been in the UK, outside of the UK, for more than 184 days at a time, or 548 days in total during this 5-year period. You need to know that the time spent on some visas do not count towards your indefinite leave to remain. These visas include your standard visitors visa, short-term study visa, seasonal worker visas, or on immigration bail, or if you have been in prison and spent some time in the prison, or you were a young offender, the time spent in these places do not count towards your continuous residence. So you have to have a valid permission to stay in the UK, that is a valid visa to stay in the UK, meet the continuous residency conditions, have a good knowledge of language and life, pass the Life in the UK test, which is about £50. You can book this test online on UK government website. That will direct you directly to where you get those visas. There are a lot of scammers out there, beware. You also have to pass the English language testing systems that are approved by the UK government for settlement in the UK. When you go on the website and click the links, you will be able to book this test. The exams are simple and straightforward, and anybody can pass it. You do not need to pass them at a 7, just a basic pass, and you are good to go. Also, the Life in the UK test is one that you need to pass. It's a pass or fail. A lot of people find problems with these, but there are help online, apps online, and most importantly, the UK government sells study materials online. When you book for this test, you can actually buy those study materials. They have question and answers, and I'm sure if you're able to do those question and answers, you should be fine for the exam. Now, if you are on a healthcare visa and you applied as a main applicant and you proved your English language when you apply for that visa, you do not need to go write another English language exam anymore. However, your dependents who are between the ages of 18 and 65 need to write the English language test and also write the Life in the UK test. For children who are below 18 years, They do not need to write the English language testing, and they do not need to write the Life in the UK test. You need to also provide some mandatory documents. Now, this is your proof of identity, and this can be in form of a passport. If you do not have a passport or you're not able to renew your passport on time, you can use your national identity card. They just need a form of identity. Now, a national identity, a current passport photograph if you have one, a valid travel ID. Okay, so you need a passport or a valid travel ID. If you're not able to provide this, you can apply using your national identity card, and then you attach a letter to ask you to explain why you are using your national identity card to apply. Then you can now explain why. Probably your embassy has a problem, don't renew. And if you have applied to renew your passport, put the evidences there for them. Okay, for the copies of payments and things like that. They are very, very important. All this so you don't waste time waiting for renewal, because we know our embassies can take years. For example, Nigeria embassy, it can take months for these passports to come back. So you don't want your indefinite leave to remain to be delayed because of that. You can actually apply using your national identity card, explain why you do not have your passport, and apply. Provide the documents proving that you have applied for your passport, but most importantly, where you are able, please apply for your passport renewal well ahead of time so you have this in hand. Now, the other thing you need is your valid biometric resident permit. Okay, you will need to upload this on the website. You also will require to submit all supporting documents. You'll be told what documents you need to submit. It varies for individual to individual. It could be your payslip, letter from your employer confirming that they require you to continue the job and they're happy to still have you in the job. Now, they also require you to submit any utility bills, proof of where you live, if it's your husband, prove that they're living together with you. So ensure your partners have their names on the utility bills so they can apply for their indefinite leave to remain. Also, if your partners have a different job and you're applying at the same time as a partner, you do not need to submit your partner's pay slips. You can submit only your pay slips. Or if your partner is applying after you have applied, they will need to supply your pay slip that you are supporting them to have indefinite leave to remain. If for instance they do not have a job, and if they have a job, a regular job, you can submit their passport and your pay slips as well. So both of you pay slips can be submitted. Submit the same for your children. Submit the letter from your employer for your husband and your children and everybody who is applying with you. If your documents are not in English, you need to submit a certified translation of your document. Next, once you have all these documents, you then need to apply for your leave to remain in the UK. You can apply for your leave to remain in the UK. You have to apply online. If you want to apply by post, it's a long process and it takes longer, but everything is done online now. It's easier. It's a simple form, trust me. Simple questions, simple answer. You finish this form in less than 20 minutes. For the whole family, you apply. If you're applying with your family, if your children were born in the UK, you do not need to apply for visas or indefinite leave to remain for them. Once your indefinite leave to remain comes back, your children become British citizens. You just need to register them as British citizens. Then you have to apply online. You fill all the forms, and when you apply, you need to choose a priority or a standard service. I would advise you to choose a priority service and pay just that 500 extra. You get your indefinite leave to remain in 1 week instead of waiting 6 months to get your response, and that pushes you to have stayed in the UK for more than 5 years before you get your indefinite leave to remain. Okay, so you can shorten your term to get your indefinite leave to remain and to get your citizenship by paying just that £500. You can also apply for your family members when you apply. Especially if you have been applying together in renew your visas, you can apply at the same time for them. If they have met the requirements of continuous residence, apply for them together. It's usually easy. In one application, you get all your results and back. But if, for instance, they take different periods as you, then you just apply for yourself. And once they meet continuous residence of 5 years, you apply for them separately. And remember, before you apply for indefinite leave to remain, you must have a valid visa. So if your visa runs out today and you apply tomorrow, your ILR will be denied. Okay, so it's better for you to apply on the day your visa expires. Submit your application online on that day, and even if it takes forever for them to get back to you, your stay in the UK is not affected until you have a decision. But if you apply for a visa on an expired visa, then your ILR will be rejected. If you owe any tax to HMRC, your ILR will be rejected. If you owe any money or have broken any immigration rules, make sure you document it on your application. Document fully, wholly everything that happens, the events that happened, what you've done, what fines you received from the police. If you were convicted, document everything. It's better for you to document everything, and considerations are given to you to get your ILR. Now, if you have any convictions or any problems on your driver license and things, it will be advisable for you to apply using a solicitor, because obviously they have the legal know-how to help you navigate getting your ILR even with all those problems. Okay, but for minor things like parking fines and things, that should not be a problem. Go ahead and apply. They fall under the Rehabilitation Act and things like that. Most often those visas and ILRs are approved. Hopefully nobody has any problem, so do not be afraid. But the most important thing is for you to be truthful, because any information that you withhold during your application that is discovered later on can lead to them withdrawing your ILR status if it had been given to you before. So the cost of ILR is very expensive, £2,404 to head me for each person applying. And so if you take your priority service of £500, you get your decision in a week, and then your days begin to count for citizenship. Or if you wait and do not pay that £500, you pay only £2,400, you get a decision in 6 months. Okay, that is a lot of time to be waiting for an ILR decision. Trust me. Save that 6 months of your life, get your ILR, and apply for your citizenship in a year after. And when you apply for a visa, you're not allowed to travel outside of the UK until you get your decision. Okay, just a point for you to note. Once you've submitted your application, go onto the partner website of Sotera and apply for biometrics. After you submit your biometrics, upload all supporting documents: payslip, passport, national identity card, children's birth certificate, payslips, your utility, proof of rent, proof of mortgage, husband's payslip if he's applying separately, children's letters from school if required, and things like that. Submit every document. You have mandatory documents that you must submit. Okay, upload them to the website and apply for your visa. Another requirement you need is a letter from your employer proving that they require you to continue working for them. Before you submit a letter, before the date of your ILR, the 28 days period reach, make sure you get a letter from your employer telling them you want to apply for ILR. The letter should include how much you're paid, your position, and that you are continuing to work for them. Some employers may not want to include that you keep working for them, but whatever letter they give to you should be enough for you. Submit the letter also for your partners and for your children as a sponsor letter also for them. Some visas do not count towards ILR. Visas that's like seasonal visa if you were in jail, and some other visas like that. Okay, visitors visa do not count towards ILR. But every other valid visa in the UK count towards your ILR. If you had more than one visa in the UK apart from the health and care visa, okay, you can actually use them to apply for ILR. For instance, time on the minister's visa, scale up visa, skilled worker visa, health and care visa, tier 2 visa, global talent visa, innovator visa, or representative of an overseas business. All this count towards ILR, okay? But any visa on a tier 1 graduate entrepreneur visa do not count towards ILR, okay? Tier 1 visas, if you are on them, can count towards ILR. Now you need to meet financial requirements for your ILR application. You need to have at least been paid £25,600 a year, or the going rate on your visa type. For instance, the health and care visas, if you are a senior health carer, your pay may usually be low. That is okay, or at least 10 pence per hour. That is a financial requirement for you and your family. But for health and care visa, any going rate of which you have been employed for should be enough for you to apply for an ALR. You need a proof of that salary, letter from your employer, your pay slip. Okay, so depending on your employment, this money can be less, okay, for nurses, doctors, physicians, and things like that. Now, the other thing is that your family members can apply with you at the same time, or they can apply at a later time. It does not matter. But the most important thing is that they reach the continuous residence of 5 years in the UK. They must have a genuine relationship with you, have permission to stay in the UK, and have been living with you and intend to continue living with you, and have enough income to support themselves, or you have enough income to support your family, if you understand what I mean, and you are not using public funds. They must book and pass the English test, and they must meet the English requirements. So they need to write an English language test and life in the UK test. For children, you don't need to write English test, you do not need to write the life in the UK test, but they must be your children, and you need to have a birth certificate to prove that. For children who are over 16 years old, okay, you need a bank statement for them, a credit card bill, their driver's license, NHS registration document to prove that your children, their birth certificates, of course. If they live away from you, you need their proof of address, confirmation from their university or college that they are in school in their official letter-headed paper. Okay, for children who are above 18, you can only include them in your application if they were under 18 when you first got permission to stay in the UK first, and they still do not live independently on their own. For instance, they've not gotten married or have children and they're just studying, then you can include them. But they must have come to the UK with you before they were 18 years old, and they must pass life in the English test and meet English language requirements. You can apply online, pay the required fees, priority fees if you want, and you'll be directed to the partner company to apply for your biometrics. Pick a biometric date, submit and upload all supporting documents, and voila, you are done. In days, you will get a confirmation of your indefinite leave to remain in the UK. Get an appointment with UK VCAS, and in a few days you get your ILR straight to your inbox and a congratulatory message by God's grace. And once you get your ILR, you can run a business, live in the UK, entitled to any monies, public fund, everything, and you can apply for your citizenship after a minimum of 12 months. Isn't that amazing? So if you did find this useful, if you had any questions, do ask in the comment section below. I'll be happy to help. If you did like this video, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.